Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Real Talk. Tonight, myself and Bathtime will be discussing the Chinese sci-fi epic Moon Man. I'm really looking forward to this one and like getting into it. How you been, Bathtime? You been good?
Yeah, I've been good. I just had a quick whinge to you about my tax issues. Um, I've been really good, thank you. But what I'm really interested in is just a quick sort of update on where you've been, Tyrone, because you're an international man of leisure these days.
so I left to go to New York on the 25th, and I came back not too long ago, and I really enjoyed it. Um, I found it quite an enjoyable experience going out there, like meeting different people. It's definitely a place I'll be looking to return to
Did
sooner
you get
rather
to
than later.
see any? Did you go to any film locations or anything when you were there?
Um, we did, but that was mainly on the bus tours. I did one,
Yeah,
yeah, I did one bus tour during the day, but for me, the nighttime tour was better because you saw a lot more stuff. Kind of knew where all the stars were living, all that sort of stuff, and it looks a lot more nicer at nighttime, New York.
there's nothing like a city at night. I mean,
Yeah.
like you're born and raised. Actually, you're from Teesside, aren't you? But you don't remember anything about the Northeast, really, do you?
Um, I do remember a lot about it. I just remember enjoying it a lot, but obviously I came here quite early as a
Mm,
kid, and yeah, London's my home. I mean, I was born in Middlesbrough, but I consider myself a Londoner because I've been here
yeah.
for so long.
For me, like, so I obviously grew up in the countryside, and there is nothing that excites me more than lights. Like
Mm,
when you see, like when you go to a football stadium and you walk out and the pitch just kind of like appears, and it's like it's a sort of like it's an amazing thing. Like, if you
yeah,
were, I
yeah,
don't know,
yeah,
San Siro or something. Like, for me, when I get my first glimpse of a city and I see all those lights and all that possibility, because, like, I grew up in Corby, and then I moved to a small village of maybe like 30, 40 people.
mm,
So when I see all the lights, God, it excites me. It does something to my soul.
yeah,
Like, you just think, look at all that opportunity. And
yeah,
I mean, New York as well as top five city in it.
yeah. And the thing that really got me is like you're kind of looking around and you're looking in every single direction for like miles and miles, and you see all these vehicles, all these cars, and everything just going here, there, and everywhere. And I just thought, compared to London, the scale was on a much grander scale than I'd seen before. So yeah, it was
Mm.
quite an impressive city, especially the buildings and obviously visiting like where the Twin Towers once stood and looking at all the memorial stuff was quite nice.
Really, it
Obviously it's
seems a rather
crowded.
depressing thing to do. I would go and look at like the Ghostbusters fire
No, we
station
saw.
or
No,
something.
we saw all that stuff, but it's also nice to pay your respects and stuff. I didn't find it. I found it like you know an important thing to do. Um,
Ah, okay. I mean, like, yeah, no judgment. I would never consider that, and I'll actually be in New York quite soon as well.
yeah, man.
Um, yeah, like I'm really really excited about that. I just absolutely love it. And did you see any good films on the flight or anything?
So on the way there, I watched The Usual Suspects, and I watched it on the way back as well because it was so good. Yeah, yeah. I watched Usual Suspects, and I was thinking to myself, I could understand why you were surprised that I hadn't seen it. Now I understand why. Great film.
Yeah, well, it was also on our list, so um, we'll do that next week. Unless there was another one I thought of that I wanted to. Oh, I want to do Parasite relatively soon if we could, because I'm desperate to see it.
Mm.
Um, and I've had Bart like messaging me quite a lot about watching some film that he sent me, but like no one's going to watch Moon Man apart from you, so they can all do one. Um, all right, let's start off then with Moon Man is a film that I watched last year
Yeah.
and is genuinely one of my favourite films I've seen in the last decade. I knew nothing about it, and it was absolutely wild. I loved it. It's not a perfect film, but I absolutely loved it. What are your thoughts on it?
Um, it starts off with obviously you seeing this guy called you. He's
Me?
Not you specifically. I think that I'm going by
Yeah, I
the
know. To
character's name.
Rush Hour 2.
Yeah, yeah, and yeah, it's just the story of someone who's like he's basically an underdog. People kind of look down on him, you know what I mean, and he ends up becoming the hero of the story. It's quite a good story, quite original as well. Hadn't seen anything like that before. Thought the visuals were stunning, obviously throughout the film, and you know a lot of
Did you love
people.
it?
I did. There were some people in the YouTube comments saying how much it had made them cry, and I could understand it because it was quite an emotional piece. But yeah, it didn't make me cry, but it was very interesting. But I
Do you cry
basically
in
enjoyed
films?
it. The only film that's probably got me to kind of that level is probably Ray with
Oh,
what's
Ray
his name?
Charles.
Yeah, the film Ray by
Is it Jamie
Jamie
Foxx?
Foxx. Yeah, the Jamie Foxx film. That's the only one that's kind of got me close to that level. That's it.
I get emotional watching films. I don't think like I cry, but I do. There are films that make me feel very emotional,
Mm.
and this actually is one. I think it's like if it gets, I think you love this film, but if because there's three kind of like standout set pieces, and I think that if you react well to them, you're going to love this film, and if you don't, if they don't work for you, then the film kind of falls down because it's all built on these very sort of like emotionally charged, like it's kind of got this. It's bit. Have you seen Dodgeball?
I remember it vaguely. I didn't watch it specifically, but I know what film you're talking about.
Have you seen what was the film Yappa was in? Mean Machine.
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
You know they have the commentators who basically tell you what to think.
Yeah.
So, like, I think if like a lot of this film is basically going right, you should be sad here, you should be happy here, you should be joyful here, and if that works and you're in it, I think I can see why people would cry and things because it's like it's exactly my kind of film, to be honest, which is that it's like it's sort of I wouldn't even say it's absurd or farce. It's more like you familiar with magical realism? So sort of Latin American literacy theory.
Vaguely. All right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, all it is, right, is that occasionally in like so the most famous one is 100 Years of Solitude.
Okay.
And it basically occasionally magic things happen and it kind of hints that there's something outside of the world, like in the same way that in things like The Thing, which we watched recently, there's a sort of cosmic horror in that, like where's this thing come from, are there more out there, that kind of thing. And magical realism is basically the idea that there is magic in the mundane. And this is the film that I think sort of captures the heart of that, where there's just moments of like absurdity that are not logical, but they connect on an emotional level. And that really affects me.
I think one of the main themes of the film is obviously loneliness as well, like how he deals with that and, ends up making a friend and the kangaroo, obviously. And I like how that relationship develops because it starts off with them not getting along, and all of a sudden, as we go through the film, you start to see that bond like be created, and they end up becoming best friends towards the end of it. I thought that was quite good. I like that journey of friendship.
Yes, I'm an absolute sucker for mismatched couples. Like anything where like a cynical man has to escort like an excitable child across a desert or something will always get me. Like The Last of Us or our short film, The Bear. I think maybe you can see that this is quite heavily influenced from it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. But I just like before we get into the sort of nitty gritty, I wanted to ask you about your feeling on this because I think this is a good film to sort of explore it with. Is that often like I talk about chaos and order, right?
Yeah.
So there's this sort of like I wouldn't call it. It's not really science. It's more philosophy. But there's this idea, right? That one side of your brain is for logic and thinking and things like that, and the other side is for more creative stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so like your left hemisphere basically deals with sort of speech processing and things like that, and your right hand side is more about like emotions and visual pathways and things. And there's always been this kind of idea that I like, which is that you are at your most engaged when you are making order from chaos. So a good example of this is a mystery, right? You get a mystery, which is just chaotic, and then you sort of piece it together and you work out what's going on. And I think this is why people like stuff like Lost or any new TV show that comes out. There's always like a mystery in it, and it's trying to engage you by getting those two things in like that's how it tries to engage you. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
What I actually find that I respond better to, and I think Moon Man is a great example of, is the other way around, where chaos is coming from logic. So, you define all the rules, like Shakespeare kind of did this with his sonnets. You have these rules, and then you've got to be imaginative and creative from them. And this is why I like Moon Man, because it's utterly ridiculous, but it's kind of grounded in something that feels real.
Yeah.
And this effect, and I just wanted to know, like, how you kind of, like, how you would respond to that take.
I like the whole thing of the meteor. The meteor coming, and it's it's gonna basically crash into the earth, and you've got these engineers and all these people, these astronauts who are kind of got a plan to kind of stop what's going to happen. And I found it interesting, how I liked how, at the beginning, he's basically in love with this woman and he's pretending to speak to her, and then he kind of gets left behind. But it didn't really surprise me at the end when she says, "I actually did see you on the camera," because I thought, how come none of them have noticed? Surely someone's noticed him. And it kind of made sense, like towards the end when you realize that, she basically wanted to sacrifice him to kind of save everybody else. The only thing I didn't like about it, but I understood why they'd created the character like this, is this one person simping over one woman. I thought that was a bit silly, but that's basically the character, isn't it? I suppose.
Yeah, it's well, like I watched this with Sarah, my girlfriend, and she had quite a lot of issues with the character at the start. And it is like, I don't know a lot about like Chinese, or this is based on a Korean comic. I don't really know how their kind of sexual politics work and stuff, but it does sort of feel a bit weird. And then I thought actually of like the Divine Comedy by Virgil, where you have this trope in very, very old literature of a guy who is in love with a woman for decades and has only seen her once, or only spoken to her once or twice. So it just might, I don't know, but I wouldn't say it's simping. It's more like he has a sort of imaginary relationship and he knows it's imaginary and stuff like that. But it is weird.
He's a bit of a nerd, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a massive nerd, and I really like a part later on where he talks about how he sort of got to know her a bit more, and she adopts stray cats and stray dogs, and would she like to adopt a stray man? I thought that was quite nice writing or subtitling. Which Bilal, shout out to Bilal who's in the comments. I don't know what to do. Like, did you have problems reading the subtitles?
I did. I thought the subtitles should have been a bit bigger, and I think they could have been a bit slower when they were coming up. They were very. That's my only issue really with the film, the subtitling. But you can't get everything right, can you?
And it's on YouTube for free, and it's not like a pirated copy.
Yeah, it's good quality. It's a good quality. Yeah, it's a good quality copy as well. So
it's not a copy. That's they've just put it on YouTube for free. The film company, brilliant.
Wow, that's nuts.
But yeah, right. Let's get into the sort of the real breakdown. So we've got like the first act, which is pretty simple, but I would like to give a special shout out to the animation in the credits that I really enjoyed. The kind of Lego.
Yeah, yeah. And you got the people looking at the TVs and all that sort of stuff. That was interesting.
Yeah, it's like I think it's like this feels like a film that is made for people with a very short attention span, to be honest. And the first act is radically different to the second and third acts. And I'm not a huge fan of the first act, I've got to say.
Okay.
Like, it is just a little bit weird. Essentially, he's just a little bit weird. And that's probably the intent of the filmmaker, because he's up in space, but he's not really sort of existing there. Like he's listening to music. He's got earpods on. He can't hear the rockets taking off, and he's basically done something that we've seen a lot of people do in life, which is he thinks that changing location is going to solve his problems. Right? So he's still like lovelorn. He's still not really engaged with anyone. It doesn't look like he's got any kind of social life. He's still a bit of a loner, all these kind of things. And the big thing in the opening is he talks about tall poppies get cut first. He never wants to stand out.
Yeah.
He wants to be middle of the road, no problems. And when I first watched this film, Tyrone, I was wondering how much Chinese propaganda was going to be in this film.
Yeah.
There's basically zero as far as I can tell.
Well, I was watching through it and I didn't notice any of that sort of stuff within the film, so I thought that was quite nice.
Yeah, there's just one bit which is where they talk about people being disappeared, which I thought was probably quite a risky joke. But I thought that this idea. I just want to say hello to Agile Beast. I followed you back on Twitter, my friend. Do you know he's only made three tweets ever, and they're very funny. They're all about Harry Maguire. Did you manage to check this out, Agile? Because we're just at the start, and to be honest, it's a film like Tyrone loves it as well. I'm quite pleased. But I thought this character of not wanting to stand out, ordinary and a bit weird, it feels very universal to me. Like we all know people like that, don't we?
Yeah, and then it's when they say to him, there's only a job in maintenance. Do you want it? And then you find out the only reason he's taken it is because of her, which was quite nice. It was a good reason for him to.
It's understandable, isn't it?
Yeah, you understand why he's done what he's done.
Yeah, you might call that simping, but I know people who have done far, far more stupid things than that over a girl. But yeah, I loved it. And then so we get the scene of all the rockets taking off.
Yeah, so that was great, actually.
Yeah. It's one thing you have to say about this film is some of you might have had problems with the subtitles, but the style and the visual storytelling, and to me, the special effects, because the kangaroo isn't photorealistic, and I don't think it's meant to be, is exceptional.
Yeah.
And I love the composition of the shots. I love the little zoom ins and the dollies they use. I love what I don't love, to be honest, is that there's a lot of kind of fast stuff where, they do that, like when Kong and Wu were fighting, they do like a kind of Street Fighter 2 game loading screen and things like that. And that's a little bit, I don't need that in a film, to be honest. I understand.
They were trying to cram a lot of stuff into one shot many times, and you're like, okay. It's a lot of trying to process, isn't it? It's a lot to try and process.
It's the TikTok generation, isn't it? And it's made for people with a short attention span, which I don't mind at all. Like there are a lot of people like that, but it's really good. So we get the setup of the film. As Tyrone says, there's a mission. The Chinese are given like all the resources to go and lead a mission to Armageddon, the moon. They're going to shoot a big rocket at an asteroid that's coming to blow us up. The debris is going to hit the moon, and the world's going to be safe. Something goes wrong where the debris strikes the moon base where everyone's at, and they have to evacuate. Wu is listening to K-pop or something, gets out too late, all the rockets take off, and he sees a fragment of the asteroid absolutely batter the Earth. And he sits there thinking that he is the only man alive.
And he kind of narrates his own story, which is quite good. He starts talking about all the resources that are left on his rocket, and it's enough for him to basically survive on the moon on his own if he was to live there for the rest of his life. But yeah, it's nuts. For me, I think when you realize that he's being watched all that time and all the embarrassing stuff is being watched by people who are looking at everything he's doing, it kind of surprised me because obviously I'd never seen it before, and I had no idea that I basically thought he was the only one left. Like,
it's really well done, isn't it?
It is. So it kind of surprised me because I thought they were all dead on Earth, and I thought they were all dead.
Yeah. Well, that's that. Yeah, because you're in his shoes, and he's like, his day is quite funny because he spends most of it trying to hack into the girl he fancies room.
Yeah.
And eventually he blows it up to get in. But he's also sort of talking about how he's just too cowardly to commit suicide. And there's this great thing which I really relate to, where he says he went on a fast for 4 days, and then on day 5 he just eats everything.
Yeah.
And I found that I quite like that. He's depressed. There's not a lot going on, and then he meets King Kong.
Yeah.
Did you know that was coming? Because I think I told you that there was a kangaroo in this.
You did mention. I knew that was coming. I just didn't know. See, I didn't realize. I thought the kangaroo might be talking and stuff like that. I had no idea what the kangaroo was going to be like. So
right,
yeah, I didn't. Yeah, so
he's a little bastard, isn't he?
Yeah, he's greedy. He's gluttonous. So
yeah, he's exactly like you or me. In the fact that he's greedy, aggressive, not sort of socialized, and they make friends eventually, but not before. Another really bizarre scene, which I found tremendously funny, where he dresses up as a lady kangaroo to seduce the kangaroo to steal poison to kill himself.
That was hilarious.
It's not, yeah. And
then King Kong starts to try to mate him, and everyone's watching it on the screen. It was outrageous. It's just another crazy scene in a multitude of crazy scenes throughout the film. But yeah, it was quite good.
Well, this is good because the introduction of there is this kind of Truman Show element to the film where Earth is. So after we find out that Earth has been blown up, and Wu has broken into his sort of to do his simping things. He has these really sort of corny dinners with a cardboard cutout of a girl. I didn't have time to watch this, but I'll give it a go. You guys said it was uploaded for free on YouTube. We did Agile Beast, and it is uploaded by the film production company for free. If you look at my Twitter, or I can actually give Tyrone the link now.
I've got the link. I'll post it into the chat now.
Yeah, for the thing. We've had a lot of people complaining that they couldn't read the subtitles particularly well. It's not a film that I don't think you need to read the subtitles for a lot of it. I didn't. But I don't. I tend to kind of forget that I'm reading subtitles when I watch a film.
But to be honest with you, Bathtime, when I was watching it, a lot of the story might be lost on me as we're talking about it because I was kind of getting sucked into the visuals and what was happening on screen. I wasn't reading it all the time. So yeah, I understand that.
Yeah, I mean there are some there are some things as well that I know we haven't like seen properly. Like there's a bit where they keep writing stuff in Chinese on a gravestone. There's a bit where there's some Chinese lettering on a parachute, and I suspect all these things are jokes, but they're just not subtitled. But yeah, Agile, honestly, go watch it. Like it is a lot of fun, and it's not going to be what you think it is.
It surprised me, that's for sure.
Yeah. So, like, come back and tell us next week. I think next week's film is going to be The Usual Suspects. But after you've watched Moon Man, come back and like hear what we've got to say about it, or message us or whatever. Let us know what you think. But where was I? Yes. So what I really liked, Tyrone, was the reveal of the Truman Show element, where he's like having that corny dinner with the girlfriend, and that she gets some ketchup on her, and he like sort of starts kissing it off, and then it cuts to Earth.
Yeah, and that's what I thought. Wow, how embarrassing this! Because at the end of the day, I kind of understand he's just doing all this, thinking no one's watching me. I'm on my own, and then I just think to myself, "Oh my god, they're all watching this."
Yeah, like when he blew his clothes off, and presumably he's been doing other stuff. But what I really like about it is that they all look at like Mrs. Moon.
Yeah, they look at her. Yeah.
Like to sort of see her reaction. I enjoyed that. I also like, I don't know, like I suspect, right, that in the comic it's based on, there are a lot of characters down on Earth who are featured far, far more. Because in the film this is one of my complaints with it, is a lot of them are very kind of throwaway and serve no purpose. But Flute Boy is absolutely great. I love it when they kung fu kick him and stuff, or like but yeah, so we see so like what this does quite skillfully, right, is that when we get the Truman Show element, we then discover that Earth is okay. It's not completely done. It's in a bad spot, but people are still alive. Everyone's really depressed, and Wu. What they're going to try and do is make Wu look like a hero. Is he you? He's you, isn't he? Not Wu.
Let's just call him Moon. Wu. Let's call him Mr. Moon. Yeah.
Mr. Moon. Mr. Moon is gonna be sort of set up as this heroic figure, and Mrs. Moon, the girl that he simps for, isn't really into it. She thinks he's a complete idiot and all this, and so. Using this, we get an introduction to some other characters. One is Flute Boy, who, for some reason, just plays the flute, but claims to be. Isn't he? Sorry,
he's an actor because he comes in. He's originally meant to be like Mr. Moon's voice because they want to dub his voice, so they use.
He's meant to be a voice actor, but it turns out he's just got a YouTube channel.
Okay.
Like so, you know, he's not. And also, the first time that we get a broadcast, the first thing they see is King Kong, the kangaroo, and so he just goes, "Good afternoon," which I found that very funny. So the voice actor thinks he's meant to be acting out the part of the kangaroo. That tickled me. But we also get some other stuff, which is. The one that annoyed me the most is the K-pop idol who's bald with the wig. I thought there was going to be really fun stuff around him, but he's just not in it at all. Could easily be cut. And we get this guy, right, who's in a cast. I think he's called like Engine Fixer Number 8 or something. But you get all these people that are really, really low, and Wu is going to be Mr. Moon is going to be the one that gets them all up, and that is kind of the end of the first act. Is we've established what's going on Earth, we've established the characters, and Mr. Moon and King Kong are friends now. They've worked through their troubles, and they have a relationship that reminded me quite a lot of. The Incredible Hulk, and I think it's Thor.
Yeah.
The punch, like it seemed very taken from the Avengers. Did you not? You don't agree?
you kind of see like the film's kind of taken a few elements from different films, but I think with the Avengers, maybe because I've not kind of like looked into them as much and not taken as much attention of those.
Oh, it's just a one-off thing where
Okay.
Thor and the Hulk have a fight and they make friends, and then the Hulk backhands him. And there's a scene with Rue and Mr. Moon, and they both, and he starts crying and pointing at the Earth and says, "I'm going to get you back. Let's be friends." And then Rue
and he smacked him.
Yeah, and it just reminded me of the Avengers when I saw that. I thought, oh, that's the same shot. That's I probably shouldn't waste too much time on that, but yeah, that was the first act. And are you at this point watching it? Are you in or are you out?
No, I'm definitely in, because I think when you find out that like Earth is okay and you know his whole life is on a live stream, you're actually thinking to yourself, wow, there's actually going to be a resolution towards the end, and you kind of gear
not the resolution you expect though.
No, no, definitely not. But yeah,
Well, then we get into the fun and games of the film, and it starts off with a bit of like Chekhov's gun, as it were, where he thinks he thinks that someone from Earth is trying to communicate with him.
Yeah.
So he hasn't been forgotten. They remember him, and it gives him a bit of hope. And we now begin to see that he's a little bit more than a fat, simping slob.
Mm.
And how does that happen, Tyrone?
Well, I know at one point, because he's worked in the maintenance department, he's kind of learnt a few skills along the way. So then he basically, it kind of goes into like Apollo 18's mission, where they had a mission before, it failed, but there's like an old spacecraft on there. So basically,
they covered it up, didn't they?
Yeah.
I thought when I was watching it, I thought, here we go. This is where the Chinese propaganda is going to come in.
Yeah.
And it's not. It's literally just a plot point that they needed.
Mm. So then,
so he goes to get he goes to get an Apollo 18 like never launched in real life, but in the film it did launch. It got to the moon. Something went wrong. It got covered up, and basically there's equipment there that he could possibly use to get home.
Yeah, and then you find out he's got a lot of intelligence in him, because then he starts to kind of build back the spacecraft, and bit by bit, and then that's basically his ticket home. So that was quite interesting, I thought. Really good.
Yeah, it's good. It's good how they kind of they sort of revealed it, that he's far more capable than importantly than people think, but most importantly than he shows.
Yeah,
he's becoming a tall poppy now. And everyone is watching him. And also his relationship with Kong isn't quite there yet, because he works out that the spaceship can only take something like 20 kilograms. So not very much at all. And then he goes, well, it's fine. I can lose the weight, but I'm just going to leave Kong here. And then he drives off. But Kong catches up to him and puts him in a headlock. And they have to drive. They have to drive off to make. He just has to accept that he's with this Rue now.
You're not leaving without me.
Yeah, there's still a bit of selfishness there. There's still a lot of character growth to go through. And down on Earth, there's also a joke that I really liked, where someone goes, "Who is this guy? Give me his CV." And they look at his CV and they go, "Fucking hell! Look at the Photoshop on that." And it's basically a joke about like how he looks nothing like his picture.
Yeah.
Which I like that a lot. And you can see people are sort of beginning to get a bit of grudging respect for him. In like NASA control room, they still think he's an idiot. And Mr. Flu is still getting beaten up with like this sort of division of astronaut kung fu artists. But yeah, and then what do we get next? Is it his mission to the other side of the base? Oh, that's right. He then remembers there's a prototype of the bomb that blew up the comet.
Yeah.
Which for some reason is on the other side of the moon. So if he's in like London, it's in Beijing. It is like 8,000 kilometers away. And he's got to go and get it, Tyrone.
Yeah. But there's also like, I think towards the end, we also like, because he actually makes himself a sacrifice, doesn't he? he actually says like, you know, there might be only one way to do it. He might actually like have to like take his own life for the greater good for everyone else. Or have I got that wrong?
No, there's a bit earlier
later
on.
on.
Earlier on,
Mm.
where he has all the sort of paper out and the petals and things. Yeah, is that what you're talking about?
Yeah.
That's a funeral for mankind and the people on Earth.
Okay.
So the difference is now now he thinks, because of the static on the control on the intercom or whatever, he thinks people are alive, and he's got a bit of hope. And because he got beaten up by the kangaroo, it's reminded him that there's another rocket somewhere. And we're going to see the first bit, which is, it reminds me a little bit. You haven't seen Breaking Bad, have you?
I have.
Okay, well, he reminds me a little bit of Walt in Breaking Bad, where they just gradually feed you how intelligent Walt is.
Mm.
And this is the first bit where you realise that not only is he a good engineer, he's actually incredibly intelligent, because the mission to get the rocket to take him home will kill him. And the reason it will kill him is that he's only got solar power, and he's only got 14 days of sunlight, as it were.
Mm.
And that leaves him like like that. He can't make the journey in that amount of time. And there's a scene of a bit of tension down in NASA control where they're like, this is the end.
Yeah.
He's lost it. He doesn't know what he's doing. It's sort of building up to, I mean, it's not even halfway through the film, so he's not going to die.
Mm.
But do you remember what his plan was?
No, it's not coming to me.
He goes the other way around.
Oh, okay.
So that makes the sun last longer.
Oh, okay.
And so if he drives, if he drives 20 hours straight and sleeps 4 hours, the way orbits and the sun works, he's going to be able to arrive at his destination.
Okay.
And him and Kong are like Kong in the passenger seat. They go off and they have a big long drive.
It is a crazy film, It's nuts. There's a lot going on in it. There's a hell of a lot going on.
Well, this is where the film starts for me, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like the feel and the tone, like, and it's so relentlessly optimistic, this film.
Mm.
That I honestly, I love it. I love like when he's sort of like he's driving and it's really difficult and stuff, and they're trying to make it fun with like he has a dream that the kangaroo is talking to him. Like they've set up this pulley system, so if one falls asleep, it'll wake the other one up. But all it actually does is just rip a clump of hair off of Moon Man's head, and they do it. They arrive at the base. What does the kangaroo do at the base? Oh yeah, it nearly sets the bomb off, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But they get it, and then we get the first big emotional set piece in the film.
Mm. There's so many. That's the thing with this film. There's so many like massive moments.
This is the one where I began to feel that this is the one that had me completely. And it's, if you haven't seen it and you're listening to, I don't know why you'd be listening to this, even if you had seen it, but it'll sound like really silly, but it's so effective, which is because Kong set off like what looked like a self-destruct sequence, he gets punished and gets put in the back of the van.
Mm.
As they're driving along, once again, Mr. Moonman is listening to music and misses a very important event, which is that the sort of the truck at the back gets unstuck, and so he leaves Kong and he's driven about 100 miles. When he finally works out what's happened, they do the calculations, and if he goes back for Kong, he's going to die. There's not enough sunlight to get them home. There's not enough battery power. So he's got to make a choice about what to do. And then in the Truman Show NASA control, his simp interest who is set up as very, very cold, and his polar opposite goes, if he goes back, it's certain death. No normal person would do this, but he's going to. And then what does he do, Tyrone?
He just carries on going forward with his plan. Like, he's a bit of a nutter.
No, he goes back for the kangaroo.
You don't expect him to, though, do you? Did you expect him to go back to him?
Yes. Absolutely. Did you?
I wasn't sure, you know.
Really?
I know they've built like a bit of a friendship and stuff, but I don't know. You know, you see a lot of guys, you know, sometimes when it's a lady they want to get back to or whatever, you know, they're always they forget about their bros, you know?
No, man. He was left. He's been left. He knows what it's like.
Yeah.
He promised Kong they're getting back.
Yeah.
And then he does that drift. Like, and the music changes, and Mr. Flu is shouting about how any normal man would just carry on, but Mr. Moon Man isn't normal. He's, you know, he's got the burden of the Milky Way on his shoulders, and he's going back for Kong. And I absolutely loved it. I felt that this was quite a big set piece in the film.
I don't know, what's my favourite bit?
The next bit is my favourite bit by a mile.
Yeah, I think my favourite bit is where he feels like he's alone and then they light up the earth. That bit comes later on.
Oh, that's your favourite bit?
Yeah, that's my favourite bit because it's like, yeah, they're basically saying we've got to kind of show him that, you know, we're not. Yeah. He's not alone, and I think he's about to take his life, and then he realizes that they basically send him a message, and then he's like, "Oh wow, they never forgot about me after all." You know what I mean? And then once he sees
probably build up to that properly.
Yeah, we'll build up to it, but yeah, for me that's my favourite bit.
Right, the next bit is by far my favourite bit in the film, and also one of my favourite scenes ever. I think where he does so that he picks up Kangaroo. They're driving along. They've lost the sun, and there's this great shot of the sun setting, and that is, you know, they've got to chase the sun to stay alive. So he's got himself in a situation he knew he was going to get himself into. They do everything they can. They drop the power to emergency. Now, because it suits the plot, it's very cold on the moon and he's got like an icy beard and things. The power cuts out. And his suit's got 5 hours of pressure. So he's got 5 hours to live. And he's outside and it's our darkest moment. There's literally no way out of it. Or is there?
I still can't get over, you know, them shots, like when they're driving across the moon and stuff, and you see the shots inside the vehicle, and then you actually have the shots outside. I just thought, wow. And
the Milky Way is beautiful, isn't it?
It's amazing, but it's like the way they've filmed it, you think to yourself, wow, the moon's a lot bigger than we thought. You know what I mean? It's just done so well. It's unreal.
It was also really nice contrasting it with 2001: A Space Odyssey, which is also incredibly beautiful. Yeah. Like, this is much more sort of stylized and feels like it's sort of filmed for modern televisions, you know, with all the blacks and the purples and the reds and things. But it's space is so cool. Yeah. Like, and it's so nice when someone presents it with a bit of love and passion. And in this, you get this in this scene, because essentially what happens is that Mr. Moon Man kind of A-teams the car. Like, he builds a sled, and using a light on his spacesuit, he gets the kangaroo to chase after the light, and they start sledding across the moon. He's only got to do 50 kilometers, and the kangaroo can go, I don't know, 300 miles an hour or something. And so they're just bombing across. And I think is it Coldplay that's playing at this point?
There's a few tracks, mainstream tracks that they use, and you think, wow, they got all the rights to all the music. And they. Oh,
I loved Country Roads. Country Roads, take me home. Like, I absolutely love the use of that. But yeah, so I think they're playing Coldplay. Very upbeat song. I hadn't heard it before, but it sounds like Coldplay. And he's like whizzing along, and you see like it's got speed, it's got this incredible stellar background of the Milky Way, and it's hope and it's excitement and it's amazing. And then the bit for me that I loved more than anything is I think it's our thumbnail as well, is he has to go over this big chasm. So he flies over the chasm, and it looks like, right, he's not going to make it, but he's built in like fire extinguishers, and he sort of cracks them open, and him and the kangaroo start flying up, and you see the sun, which is meant to symbolize life, and then you get the hero shot, that 3/4 shot we speak about, of him coming into the light, and then it cuts to them like E.T. going, but instead of going across the moon, they're going across the earth, and it's absolute cinema.
It's a great shot.
Hope, visuals, optimism. It's everything you want in a film, and it's a moment where they show everyone on Earth like cheering and stuff. They should have shown like me and Sarah, because we were going mental at this.
Do
you know what I mean? Like, let's go, like as if we celebrated a goal, and it's the high point of the film.
It's just got it kind of reminded me of Christmas time, where you see the reindeers and they're flying with Santa across. That's what it reminded me of.
Yeah, I think that's what it's meant to be, isn't it? That image of Santa going across the moon.
Yeah. And I think it's quite a simple thing, but I think the choice of like the yellow spacesuits, it contrasts so well with the the darkness of space, and when they're on the moon. I don't know if that was a personal choice, but it just works so well.
Well, it's nice to see a colourful film, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know a lot's been said and written recently about how colour grading and cinematography has become incredibly bland. There's like, in the sort of filmmaking world and in the writing world, there's a video at the moment that's gone viral about the difference between the original Jurassic Park and the most recent Jurassic Park, and how, because everything is computer generated, they need to light stuff as blandly as possible to make the effects look good. And everything's sharp, it's got great field of depth, and it's also got lovely juxtaposition of like colors and things, because it's very strange, but this should be a really depressing film, but it's incredibly hopeful and optimistic throughout, and that is contrasted against the grayness and the bleakness of space, and it works really, really well. So in these high energy upbeat scenes, when the director gets off the leash and is showing all this crazy stuff and all these colors and using the soundtrack and stuff, it is designed solely to appeal to the emotional side of you, and it works 1,000,000,000% on me. Like, I love it. But then, as we all know, when good things happen to a character in a film, bad things must happen next. And
there's always something bad, isn't there? There's always something bad around the corner, sadly. But
well, the first bad thing we see, Tyrone, is the asteroid. We just see a shot of an asteroid. Did that clue you in to what was now going to happen?
Yeah. Okay.
And did you see it and you instantly knew what was going to have to happen?
First time you see it, you're just thinking to yourself, okay, it's heading towards the Earth. This looks like it could be the end. That's what I was thinking.
Right. Okay. When I saw it coming, I kind of knew what it meant, but I didn't want to accept it. I've seen, we obviously study films. We've watched a lot of films. It's fairly obvious what that asteroid means, but you don't want to accept it. And then the next bad thing that happens to him is he realizes that the message he got earlier from Earth, the staticky one, was caused by the kangaroo wagging its tail against some wires. And he goes into the stereotypical dark night of the soul stuff that we see in lots of at the end of most second acts, where he comes depressed, and this leads into the scene that you like the most. So why don't you talk us through it?
Yeah, so it's you know, you kind of like looking at him and you're thinking to yourself, yeah, he's depressed, he feels so alone, and it's like you think to yourself, wow, he's finally hit rock bottom, and then comes to the point where you know he's gonna basically end it all, end his misery, and then the people watching him are like, you know, we've got to do something for him. He's on his own.
Yeah,
We've got to show him that we're all here, and then they all decide to light up the earth, send him a message, and yeah, that's a really nice bit. And the bit that got me is when he's looking at them on the monitor, and they're all asking him how he is he okay, and you can see just the happiness in his face.
yeah.
It's brilliant.
That's kind of afterwards. So he basically they're a month away from making contact with him, like fixing the cables and stuff. And during his time of like inspiring people on Earth, they've actually managed to get themselves into quite a good spot. Like things aren't quite as bad as it seemed. They've restored, I assume, the Yangtze River Dam, Three Gorges Dam, and then it becomes clear that he's lost hope. And they have a scene which you've seen Lord of the Rings, haven't you? The Return of the King.
Yeah, not
right.
A fan, yeah, watched it.
There's a scene in Return of the King that I love, but it doesn't really serve much of a purpose, which is where they light the beacons up. And it's just a long shot of like people setting fires to music. Do you know the one I'm talking about?
Vaguely. I'd have to watch it again. It's such a long film.
Yeah, people will know the lighting of the beacons. It's very different in the book, by the way. Denethor orders it, not a bloody hobbit. But it's a wonderful bit of cinematography and of film. But it actually isn't in great service to anything. And it really reminded me of them lighting the beacons in this, where essentially they all come out of their bunker, they point torches in the sky, and we're talking hundreds of people. Like there are people out on boats lighting up lighthouses, risking themselves. One of the maintenance workers has been struck by lightning, and he's still out there trying to set the lights up. And Moon Man sees it. And they've tried to arrange it to all say, you are not alone.
Yeah.
But I assume that this is a sort of Chinese language only joke. It says, you are no one.
Yeah.
Like, and he's like, why are they insulting me? But
yeah, but I think I found it quite interesting as well when Moon Woman decides to tell the whole truth for once. You know, that, you know, he's not a hero.
A good point.
He's not like a hero, but he's someone that was just an average Joe who we accidentally left on the moon. Do you know what I mean? So that's an important point as well for the.
Yeah, she says like, look, we tried to make him into a hero. I thought he was an idiot and all these things, but actually, he is the dog's bollocks. This guy, and he needs us. Yeah. He's been here for us. He doesn't know all the hope he's given. We now need to give him a bit of hope.
Yeah,
and goosebumps and stuff. Yeah. It is wonderful. And it is like, I think that, I mean, obviously the ending with Country Roads is pretty emotional as well. But this is something that, like, you know, it makes you think of things like Dunkirk or Manchester in '58 and things. People coming to help other people. And it's always such a wonderful thing. And it's fantastic. And it gives Moon Man a lot of, it renews his hope. He then gets in contact with them, and he can simp with his girl all the time, and things look really good.
He hasn't given up the whole time. He's kind of persevered. That's kind of what's given everyone all that hope, isn't it? It's like, looking at him, he's on his own. He doesn't realize that, you know, there's people like who are with him throughout the journey, and he just doesn't give up throughout that whole time.
I know, it's such a lovely trope, isn't it? Yeah. The determination of the quiet man. Like of just keeping going. Everything's crap, and yet you keep going because you've got hope in you, and you need to nurture and grow that hope. And I feel that there's one of the bunker survivors is a little girl that's growing a plant, and that's always, like, you know, it's obviously on the nose and a bit saccharine, but that plant is basically hope, and you see it growing throughout the film. That it's hope that keeps you going. This is why it's such an optimistic film, because it's if you've got hope, you got a chance.
Yeah, you are no one. It says it is. It was you are no one, and he's like, why insult me? You know, what I mean? You can't. That's the thing. It's like it's funny how they make a serious moment like that. They have you in the feelings like with that serious moment. And then there's another joke at the end of it.
Yeah, they do that quite a lot. Like there's a
Yeah.
bit in the start which I quite like, where he starts running towards a crater when the asteroids are coming down, saying it's statistically impossible for the asteroids to hit the same place twice, and then the asteroid hits the same place twice. It's got that kind of humor in it of like trying to subvert expectations. And the other thing that I quite like is that when he's simping for Mrs. Moon, they do it as if they're there talking to each other. I think it's really nicely shot where they're spending a lot of time with each other. She's kind of gradually getting towards him, and I can't believe we've left out one of the most important plot points, which is in Act 1. The reason he is listening to music and doesn't hear it going off is because he thinks the mission is done, and he's writing a letter to her, which he's going to give on the plane. And it's, if you like me, turn around and shake your left arm or something.
Or tap your helmet. Times.
Yeah, and that's going to be important actually a little bit later. But yeah, so he finally starts getting time with his girlfriend. You can see that like Mr. Flute has got a bit of a relationship going on with one of the air traffic controllers.
Yeah, because the one who's been kicking his ass the whole time.
Mr. Flute's amazing.
He's funny, yeah.
Yeah.
It's that bit where they say, "Can you see us?" Though that's the bit that made me laugh. They're like, "Can you see us?" And then he waves for the first time, and you hear everybody cheering.
Yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah, it's lovely.
Yeah.
And it's also really nice that in the first time they see him, they all turn and look at the girl, because he's like, basically looks like he's built a sex doll of her.
Yeah.
And then this time, the camera zooms in on the girl. Because that's what we as the audience want to know. We want to know her reaction to sort of seeing them. And so I love it. I absolutely love it. And then things are really good. Like the film kind of ticks along for 5 or 10 minutes.
You see how shy he looks as well, though. When she finally says hello to him, you can see like how shy.
Yeah,
you can see it, innit? Like he's like, oh my god, like she knows.
He's overwhelmed, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like it is quite interesting how much how physically different he looks in nearly every scene. Sometimes he's got a beard, sometimes he's fat. Like it's really like I had a look at the actor, because I to be honest, I can't tell you if the acting is good or not in this film.
No, his acting is superb, I'll be honest.
Is it? I thought the girl was really good as that kind of stoic, like...
Or Maggie Thatcher type.
Yeah.
Iron Lady.
I wouldn't say Maggie was all that stoic. She started a war over Las Malvinas. But yeah. Like, she was quite an emotional... She used to make quite emotional speeches. She reminds me a bit of Brianna Tarth in Game of Thrones, to be honest. But there is an important scene as the film's ticking along where he confesses that he basically stayed, that he went back to get the maintenance job so he could be around her. And she confesses that she saw him and still launched the rocket. And he says, "Would you do it again now you know me?" And she goes, "Yes."
And he's like, "Yeah, you're basically cold, and I love it."
Yeah, which once again I found a bit weird, but I don't.
Yeah.
It's culture. I don't know how the Chinese do these sort of things. Do you know what I mean? Like that might be. I'm sure if a lot of people looked at British relationships, they'd be a bit weirded out by them as well.
Another thing about the film I really like is when they're talking about the engineering side of things, and you get like these little montages of like all the engineering diagrams and all the Chinese writing on the left-hand side of it, and you're like, wow, yeah. You know, the science, knowing how they do things like in detail, like they've got such an attention to detail. It's probably all accurate stuff that they've done.
I doubt it, because there's a fucking kangaroo in a spacesuit.
Nah, but not the kangaroo part. I'm just talking about when they're talking about all the engineering stuff.
Yeah, well, it does feel grounded, because there's quite a lot made about halfway through about how Apollo 18 technology. He's got to make it work with modern Chinese technology. And that might be some sort of commentary on China's relationship with America or something. I don't know. But I'm going to tell you now, this isn't really a political film. And it just has very base messaging of hope and optimism and things like that. Like I was, obviously we know that China is essentially a communist country. Yeah. It's not by definition, but essentially it is. And the sort of showing of you in this Truman Show way does sort of speak to things like propaganda and state messaging and stuff like that, but it's never really rammed down your throat. Like it doesn't feel like it's allegorical. It just feels like it's sort of cultural perspective on things that are familiar, like love and hope and loss and loneliness.
It's that bit though when he's on the escalator going down and she's going up, and this is when he first sees her and he's turning around, and I'm like, for God's sake, lad, get a grip, mate.
Oh, come on, you must have done that, Tyrone, on the tube.
Yeah, but don't make it so obvious, brother.
I've done that in Queensgate Shopping Centre. I was once, when I was 14, right, I was playing for a team in Rushden, and I used to have to get a bus and then a train. And I remember being on the train at 14, looking in the reflection of the window and looking at this girl that was really fit. And I thought, do you know what? Carpe diem, I'm going to get up and talk to her. And I got up and I strode over to talk to her, chickened out, didn't know what to do, got off the train and stopped early. Never forgotten it. So I'm with him on that. I'm with him on that. We're done now. We need to finish up. So now we get into Act 3.
Yeah.
There's an asteroid coming. Not all of Pi, the asteroid, has been destroyed. But it's okay because Moon Man has got the prototype bomb. And there's going to be a nice safe mission, a bit of a detour for him to launch the bomb, and then they'll be able to pick him up. What happens?
I think for me, I'll be honest with you, this is the first film where I've probably not looked in it as deeply as other things because I'm just so distracted. I'm mostly distracted by all the visuals. I'm sure he goes with the kangaroo again. I'm sure his little partner.
So he goes right
coming again.
So what happens is there's some sort of international space station. They leave the moon, and it's really cool. There's lovely shots of them leaving the moon. They get to the International Space Station, and there's escape pods on the International Space Station that will get them back to Earth.
I like that bit where it's quite slow motion. You can see them floating through it as well together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
cool. It's kind of a hero shot, isn't it? They're in their spacesuits and things, and he looks handsome again. They're going home. Everyone's really excited back on Earth. But unfortunately, an asteroid is coming, and they debate whether to ask him or not. But they forget to turn off the intercom, so he's heard everything. And he's like, "Yeah, I'll go out. I'll launch the rocket." And then I'll come back to the space station and I'll take the escape ship home. No problems. I'm going to, I came up here to save humanity. That's what I'm going to do. And he pops Kangaroo into the escape pod. Kangaroo doesn't really understand, and it's actually quite sad. And he launches him off to Earth. So don't worry, the Kangaroo survives. But Mr. Moon Man has now got to go and take the prototype that he found and launch it at the comet, and something goes wrong.
Do they call it like a cosmic hammer?
Yeah, they do. I think it's based on an ancient legend or something.
Okay. Yeah, and it's mad. It's just that bit is kind of sad, isn't it? It is sad because you kind of feel for the kangaroo because he doesn't know if he's going to see his friend again. I think that's what it boils down to.
Yeah. And it's also like he doesn't understand. We've all been that way with a pet or something. They just don't understand. But yeah, it's all sad. And at this point, you know where it's going. He flies off in his spaceship. He goes through an asteroid belt. His ship gets damaged. And essentially, the only way that he can save the day is if he basically straps himself to the missile and uses his spacesuit to fly it there. And then he starts singing "Country Roads, Take Me Home." And it is, honestly, it's really, really sad, and it is visually spectacular.
Probably the thing is, there's so many things to look at in this film in terms of visuals and stuff, but this really is, they do leave the best till last, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, the way they've done it is they have him with the rocket on his shoulders.
Yeah.
Right. And they're playing a version of Country Roads where the lyrics are very, very different. And it's all about the savior of the human race and, you know, carrying the Milky Way on his shoulders and stuff like this. And it's a very kind of epic version of it. And as he's flying along, it's like, I don't know if it's like ionizing radiation or whatever it's meant to be, but you get this kind of glow around him. And it's just a man with a nuclear warhead flying into this impossibly large, evil-looking asteroid with the emotional music and his girlfriend. Like,
he doesn't even look afraid. That's the thing.
No, he's not. He's accepted it, and the thing is that he's now the tall poppy.
Yeah.
He never wanted to stand out because he never wanted responsibility. Yeah. And now everything he's learned, this is what he was made for.
Yeah.
This is accepted, and it's utterly wonderful because it is the character journey of, like, he had this fault at the beginning where he wasn't engaged in humanity, where he just wanted a girlfriend and he didn't want to put the effort in. He just didn't want to be anything. And now he's got a nuclear bomb flying through space to save the human race with his girlfriend crying on the radio.
Well, that's the thing. It's like she's looking at him, watching this, and she's got tears in her eyes. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, you've got a heart.
She's changed.
Yeah. I'm watching it. I'm thinking, wow, you are not as cold-hearted as I thought you were.
Well, it's great because it is the complete opposite of the first scene where she's now got to press the button to blow it up and she doesn't want to press it. And in the first scene, we see him emotional and screaming, like saying, don't launch the rocket, don't launch rocket. She sees him, she's like, whatever, launches it, off she goes. And now it's obviously a huge contrast where he's completely in emotional control. He understands the situation. He's at peace.
And
she's not.
He's waving. He sees this vision of her waving and stuff, and then he's smiling, and then bang. That shot is just crazy. The explosion.
It's great.
Wow.
It's great. And it's peaceful and it's nice. And there's also this great stuff earlier on where he was talking to, when they thought they were going to die before they went sledging, he talked about how in the old myths, heroes ended up as the stars. And he wouldn't want that because he'd be too far away from her. And what happens is that he does save the Earth. He blows the rocket up. He blows the asteroid up. But the remnants of the asteroid form an interplanetary ring around Earth. And that's him. So he's not like a constellation. He's not a hero like, the big plow or whatever it's called that lives in, what is it, the girdle of Orion? Or he's not like Orion in the stars.
Yeah.
He's around the Earth, nearer to his girlfriend. And I thought that was a lovely touch.
Yeah.
I really like that. And then we get 10 years later.
Yeah, so they're basically talking about their journey. And it's quite interesting because they're discussing it with, like, the future generations. A lot of the youngsters are kind of getting to know about what happened all those years ago, and it's nice to see Flute Man with his missus, to see that they're still getting along.
Air traffic controller.
Yeah.
Yeah, you see all the characters that you saw in NASA High Command are still sort of going and things, and they're launching a rocket, and you also get to see King Kangaroo
enjoying his time. He's basically He's more in his natural habitat. Everything's quite green. He's got an abundance of food.
Yeah, he's on a reservation.
Yeah, he's
And
lovely life.
when he saw Moon Man dressed up as a sort of transvestite kangaroo, he had this image of like what for him was paradise, and now he's in it. He's got it. He's on a reservation. There's loads of lady kangaroos and his kids jumping about. He's getting fed very expensive Chinese food, and he's got his own statue, which.
Hello.
Sorry, I pressed the button. I wouldn't mind Mr. Moon Man to have a statue instead of the kangaroo, but there you go.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Can you hear me? Yeah, and then, but it's 10 years later, everything's fine, and they're going back to the moon.
It's mental, isn't it? The fact that, you know, they're going back to the moon after all the trouble they got themselves in last time. They're still willing to go back and go through it all over again. Nuts.
Well, I mean, they don't really sort of explain why they're going to the moon, but the reason they go to the moon in the film is for Mrs. Moon to get a bit of closure. But most importantly, there's that letter. The letter that he wrote her is the kind of the last shot of the film, and she like imagines him and things like that, and it's really sweet. And I think that's Moon Man, isn't it?
It's just he doesn't get what he wants. You know, like a lot of films, the character kind of gets exactly what he wants right at the end, and he's gone through hell. He's gone through hell, come all the way back, and he still doesn't get it. And it's just, I just think the Chinese have a different way of making films, and I thought it was quite interesting. Definitely an 8 out of 10.
For me, like, I mean, I would almost put it at 10 out of 10, to be honest, but it's not a perfect film at all. I'd only give it a 9 out of 10. I think what it is it's a film that no one's going to ever talk about.
Which is the same.
Like, no one knows it. It's hard to find. But if you come across it, you'll never forget it.
That's crazy, isn't it? It's the fact that it's on YouTube and stuff, and it's mental to think not many people have seen it. It's not... It's a good film. More people should know it.
I completely agree. I do. I mean, it made a lot.
It made
like
over. Made a lot.
Made 500, 600 million.
Made a hell of a lot.
Like it's huge in China and things like that. I'm fairly sure at some point we might get an English remake.
It makes sense.
It's very similar to The Martian, though, in a lot of ways. Yeah, you haven't seen The Martian, have you? The Martian is like the serious version of this film. So you'll find a lot of similarities in it. And The Martian is also an excellent film. They're just trying to do two different things. So I wouldn't say one copies the other, but I think that Moon Man's might be a bit inspired by The Martian. But it's like, I wish more people would be able to see this film. And it makes me wonder what other films we're missing out on.
Well, you'll be surprised how many people I speak to who've never heard of Parasite. Honestly. So many.
What, that won the best picture at the Oscars.
But
I haven't seen it. But I know what it is. I've always wanted to watch it. Never got round to it. I've been wanting to watch it basically every week since we started this podcast. I'm so excited for it. But because someone went on holiday and just randomly watched one of the films on the list, we should do that.
Yeah, and speaking of that, I'm really looking forward to next week, because next week we're going to be talking about the Usual Suspects. Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, what a film, man. Jesus wept.
That's the first time
it was the first time I'd watched it, and I just looked at it and I was watching it and I was thinking to myself, why has it taken me so long to watch this masterpiece?
I'm so pleased that you liked it, because there are some films that I love, but I'm really worried when I watch them again, they're not going to hit properly.
Nice, great film, man. I think my favorite character in it is probably the young Benicio del Toro's character. I just thought he was fantastic in it. You know?
I can't remember it. I mean, obviously, I remember the ending. I remember Verbal. I remember Kaiser Soze, but I can't remember too many of the details from it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that film again. I'm trying to think what else we're gonna. Do we have any? I'm trying to think if there's any Christmas films on our list. I don't think there is. Like, I feel this for some reason. I feel this is a Christmas
I did watch
film.
a Christmas film on the way back to England, actually, for the first time. Die Hard.
Which one? Have you seen it before?
I hadn't seen it before, not properly. So I watched it for the first time on the way back. Wow, that's a great film. Yeah,
wicked film.
Great film.
Wicked film. I love John McClane. They went like maybe you should watch the rest of them, because Die Hard 2 I really like. Die Hard 3 is fucking
okay.
good.
I haven't seen the sequels to it. I've just seen the first one.
Like Die Hard 2 is the same thing in an airport. Die Hard 3 is a completely different sort of style of film, but it's got Samuel L. Jackson in it, and I think it's a really good film.
Just
and then Die Hard 4 is awful. But the first three, like I'd recommend them. But anyway, I think that's where we're going to end it. Are we not?
Yeah, just obviously a shout out to the late Alan Rickman, who I met once. Great actor. Yeah, I met him.
Did you?
Such a nice guy. But yeah,
I
was doing a play at the National Theatre years ago, and he was one of the people that was observing us, and he brought us out to speak to the audience. And I got to speak to him a little bit.
That's
great
lovely.
Actor. One of the great.
Yeah. Huge fan of Alan Rickman. I do think that Die Hard is my favourite role that he plays. I know people always say Snake, but it's either hit that or Robin or Sheriff.
I think it's Die Hard because he was just such a brilliant villain in it. He was excellent. Yeah. I'd say Die Hard.
I actually throw him in the Sheriff in Robin Hood, because he's just doing whatever he wants. He's having the time of his life.
It's mad. Yeah.
Like,
a lot of these actors, I wish I could have seen him in theatre, because that's where you see how good an actor really is. You know, when they're doing Shakespeare.
Yeah, that's for me. Like, I've looked up people like Laurence of Olivier and Alec Guinness doing plays on YouTube, and it's okay, but I wish I could have seen them live.
Yeah.
Like, I've been lucky enough to see Ian McKellen in a play, and that was wicked. I really hope that we keep producing these incredible Shakespearean character actors.
Yeah, I agree.
But are there any up and coming ones?
You know what it is? I think there are. There's one actress. She's never on TV. She's always in theatre. She's a Irish actress. She's called Rosie Sheehy. She's phenomenal. I watched her in The Mechanical about a year and a half ago. She's brilliant, man. She's so good. There's loads. There's quite a few. But the thing, you've got to go to the theatre to see them. It's a lot more money than going to the cinema, but it's worth it. You see so much talent coming through.
Yeah, I agree, but at the same time, it does annoy me how much it costs. Like, recently, there's Stranger Things 5 has come out, which I've had to watch, and I wasn't that impressed with. But what annoyed me about it is that apparently, to kind of understand one or two scenes, you'd have had to have seen a play that has been running in the West End and on Broadway. Like, who's got the money to go and bloody watch that to understand a Netflix show 2 years later?
They were showing it in New York, and then me and my brothers were talking about it, and apparently we spoke to someone. Apparently the show was 2 hours long, and my brothers were like, "Oh, we can't sit down in a theatre for 2 hours watching it." They were like, "No way." Or it might have been longer than 2 hours. It might have been 2 or 3 hours long. It was so long, honestly. They were like, "Nah."
I mean, for me, a play should be an hour and a half with two 45-minute sections, and that is. And then an interval. That's like, obviously when you're dealing with things like Shakespeare, it's going to be a lot longer. But with Shakespeare, you kind of know the story, don't you? Or something like Faust.
Faust is amazing.
Like Christopher Marlowe or something. You know the story, so you don't have to be like. Although you're engaged and stuff, you're you're not following along, as it were. But when you watch a new play or something like that, I think 45 minutes is the perfect amount of time for each part.
Yeah, that's the best thing I've ever seen, Faust. It was incredible.
That's
It wasn't
great,
actually a
isn't it?
play. We were actually there as the audience, walking around like the whole set, and we saw the characters interacting with each other. So we got to watch it like that. You could go into different rooms and that sort of stuff. I can't remember the type of.
Oh, so it's more like performance art than a
Yeah, it
traditional
wasn't
play.
forum theatre. I'm trying to think of the type of theatre it was. It wasn't anything like us. It was basically you're walking around.
Is it like the Black Country Museum where they're all pretending to be? I don't know if you know what that is, actually. The Black Country Museum is a work. It's where they film Peaky Blinders. It's this thing up in Birmingham where it's a village where they pretend it's 200 years in the past, and everyone's an actor, like pretending to be a carpenter or a shopkeeper or whatever.
I'm not sure.
Honestly, Black Country Museum, absolutely brilliant. They might have had to change the name now.
That's what it was. It was called Promenade. So it's basically you're kind of walking from one scene to another and in different performances happening.
Where is that?
We went to watch that in Wapping. This is years ago, so I don't know if they do it there anymore. We went to watch it in Wapping, yeah.
I've never heard of that.
Yeah, basically Promenade. So basically it's one of them things where a couple of us might go to one section of the place and we'll see something happening. And then our friends might be in another part of the building and they're watching another scene elsewhere. It's kind of like that.
So it's like, is it a bit like Yojimbo? I don't know if you know that.
No, it was like, you know, when you go to the London Dungeon and you've got actors there and stuff and they do stuff. It was kind of like that, but a lot more serious. We were seeing some really dark scenes happening in front of our eyes.
But would those scenes, would the scenes be taking place consecutively? So you go from one room to another, or are they happening at the same time?
They're not happening at the same time. They're happening at different times. Yeah, it's like
right. Okay. I'd add if it was happening at the same time.
Oh, okay.
So you then have to you have to listen to what other people thought to kind of piece it together. So it's like that kind of order out of chaos thing we were talking about. But then I suppose that makes it a bit more like a murder mystery, and it kind of doesn't really give the credence to Marlowe's work, does it?
There was one scene we were watching, and I thought, mate, for you to be an actor, to be able to just stay in character while we're all walking around, he had to strip completely. He had nothing on.
Oh, yeah. That's why I couldn't be an actor.
He was Faustus. He was giving up his soul to Mephistopheles, and he had to strip. But yeah, it was crazy.
So I couldn't do that because if I took my shirt off, I would just because of my vanity, I just have to have a quick scan to make sure everyone's going.
And then me and the lads almost got into a fight with another kid from the college because he had his phone out. We're like, put your phone in your pocket now. It was like that.
Oh, I got serious.
Yeah, it got sick because I was like, mate, what are you doing?
So it's the Jamaicans that are after you again.
No, he wasn't Jamaican, but he lived in Brixton.
Oh, right, okay. Electric Avenue, innit?
Yeah,
it's always going to happen.
Yeah. I've enjoyed this, though. Yeah.
I think it's great. I've missed you as well. It's good that you're back. We should probably end it here. If you are watching this, and to be honest, there are very few reviews on Moon Man. So if you have got this far, say hello or whatever. We don't really care about likes and subscribes and that kind of thing. This is more just for us to sort of discuss films. And one of the reasons that I put this film on the list is that it heavily inspires a short film that we're hoping to get made at some point.
Yeah.
Which is obviously the relationship between the kangaroo and the man.
Yeah.
All right, wicked. Let's end it there.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. See you guys next week where we'll be talking about The Usual Suspects.